All right, folks. Hey, it's Kevin O'Neill from Turn to Liberty here. We're actually meeting with Bryan Zemina, who's candidate for office. He's running for Florida House District 58. And I'm not sure if you were aware, but this day, Sunday, November 19th, the Tampa Bay Times produced an article by William March, who basically called out the McClure campaign for, at the very minimum, colluding with a network of political action committees in relation to, if you hadn't heard, what's estimated to be, $200 or as high as $400,000 being spent by PACs in this race to basically take out the GOP opponent, Yvonne Fry, obviously benefiting the remaining opponent, Lawrence McClure. So we got Mr. Bryan Zemina with us. Welcome, sir.
Good to be here.
Yeah, good to see you again, too. I know we've talked before. And
Yes,
I was just at your forum out there in Plant City about a week ago. And I think our little group here at Turn to Liberty is going to be putting out on YouTube tonight 2 hours of candidates forums for the folks.
really.
I promise we'll probably edit it up in little 10-minute chunks. But check out Turn to Liberty. That's turn number 2 liberty.com, or I should say on YouTube, the YouTube channel, because that's where that's going to land tonight. So I'm holding up your opponent's rat card. Yeah, I saw a little snarl on your face there. Lawrence's, and ironically, I've got your bumper sticker here, sir. Thanks for passing that on to me. I did reach out to Lawrence just a few minutes ago, and he needs to talk to his consultants before he jumps on for an interview, which is fine, because we wanted to get the word out and give you the floor and give him the floor. And I think Lawrence and I will probably talk later this week. So anyway, sir, Mr. William March apparently has a budget, did some research, and dug through all those political action committees that you keep talking about on your website. What's your take on what you learned out there?
Well, it seems like William March really delved in and did a great job at trying to track the money through the bouncing from PAC to PAC to PAC to PAC, which is it's an insane task even to start trying to track that money. So props to him for actually tracking it down, because I know there's been a lot of disgruntled folks out in District 58 that were Fry supporters and even some McClure supporters that saw what was going on and really, really disliked the negativity and the slander that was really put out there, calling her a liberal, calling her anti-gun, pictures of her with a terrorist. It was really direct attack ads.
Pictures of her with a terrorist? Which terrorist would that be?
So I have no idea. I have no idea. So I've heard. Now, mind you, not being a registered Republican, I didn't directly receive the mailers. But I heard that these are some of the things that were going on out there by some of her supporters. And it just seems so backwards in what our political system should be. It's literally slandering the other opponent with untruths. It's not even stretching the truth. It's not calling Trump a womanizer. It is directly attacking her in a way that really, it all appears there's no basis in truth in what was said. So it really is a direct slander attack. And
which is against the law, I understand, too. Isn't that
slander would
illegal?
Actually, technically it's libel, I believe, because it was written, but
okay.
I'm not a lawyer, so I don't need to dive into those terms. So that being said, Mr. March did a great job of actually diving in and trying to track some of the money and seeing how even the Speaker of the House's brother, Richard Corcoran's brother, was actually involved in donating some of these PACs. And when you actually look at it, for the McClure team, the McClure camp, to say that they had no knowledge of what's going on, when you actually see that his campaign manager, Anthony Pedicini, is directly involved with, I believe the article, I could be misquoting this, but I believe the article said up to 10 PACs that were bouncing money around, that had donated money and provided money to these mailers. Anthony Pedicini was directly linked to at least 10 of them.
All right, so this guy Pedicini, I talked to Lawrence tonight, and it wasn't recorded or on the record, but he did say I think it was Picillo is his campaign manager or consultant rather, campaign consultant. Pedicini, is he also one of those folks?
I know Mr. McClure was with Pedicini when I ran into him up in Tallahassee.
Oh, you saw him and you met them.
Yeah, I saw him with him at the Florida Chamber of Commerce interview that we had up in Tallahassee. So that's where I actually met Mr. Pedicini for the first time. So I know that Mr. Pedicini is involved in the Lawrence camp, in the campaign for Lawrence to be elected for State House. So if he has direct knowledge of it, it's highly, highly unlikely that Lawrence himself had no knowledge of what's happening.
Right.
Direct proof? No, we don't. And I can't say that he necessarily knew it. But when you look at the facts, there's a lot of dots that you can connect here that makes sense. It seems highly unlikely that he knew nothing about these ads.
He did say the words, he actually, when I spoke to him this evening, referring to the William March article on Tampa Bay Times, he used the terms, it's inconclusive, not close to being conclusive, is what he said. Okay. And I think if I understand from going through your website and taking a look at the Killing Dark Money in Politics video you have up there,
yes.
I mean, I don't want the voters' eyes to glaze over, but I think in a nutshell, we're saying we love the term sunshine law here in Florida, where we get to inspect what our elected officials are doing and who they're emailing and who they're communicating with, which is basically like a Freedom of Information Act style law. But at the same time, the politicians create an ability to hide all the money going into their campaigns. And I know you've been digging. This is like one of your top 3 issues you want to fix in Tallahassee. Can you give us the lay people folks here the quick 1, 2, 3 on what it is the politicians have created in law to allow them to do this and how you hope to change it?
Sure, absolutely. So there's something called affiliated political party committees that personally I didn't even know about until I really started digging in and setting up the treasurer aspect of, watching the money and keeping track of all of that as we go through our campaign. I started reading the candidate treasurer's handbook. And over again, it mentioned, here's the limit, $1,000 for an individual, $1,000 for a corporation. Here's the limit for a political party, et cetera, et cetera. It started going through all these things. And there was always an exception for something called an affiliated political party. And as I started diving into it, I realized that what the lawmakers have created is a system that allows them to receive unlimited, untracked donations directly to their campaign. Not even PAC money that is not going to them, right? It is directly to their camp. So it appears these mailers were not that, because then it would have been officially endorsed by Mr. McClure. So it was PAC money that did in this case. But those affiliated political party committees that I just spoke about are a major problem in campaign financing. It's a backdoor shady way to make sure you can still get hundreds of thousands of dollars direct to you to do whatever you want with, without anyone being tracked, because it's actually untraceable. The only thing you see is the name of the political party committee. Okay,
so basically, I don't know these people's names. We'll say somebody donates $100,000 to PAC A. PAC B delivers $90,000 or receives $90,000 from PAC A, and then PAC C receives $80,000 from PAC B. Of course, these people involved always rake out some money for themselves. And $80,000 gets deployed in a direct mail campaign attacking the opponent of whoever the candidate is, which is kind of like what we're talking about here. And what Tampa Bay Times article specifies is that Lawrence McClure's inner circle of campaign consultants, and apparently the Pedicini person you mentioned you saw him with at your Chamber of Commerce interview and question and answer session,
yes,
are all directly tied to these PACs, or if I understand it correctly. At least Pedicini is directly tied to these PACs.
Pedicini is directly tied. Actually, it's his grandmother that's actually the chair of all 10 of the PACs. I mean, it's just his 87-year-old grandmother is the person chairing these PACs and sending around $77,000 here, $65,000
Wow. That's the interview.
It's insanity.
That's the interview for me to get. I want to get the 87-year-old grandmother on this tube here, explain her masterful planning for interfering with the voters here in Florida.
The sad part about it is she probably knows nothing about it.
Wow. Now we're getting into elder law stuff. I don't know if you're familiar with elder law here in Florida, but if you commit fraud on an old person, boy, we got a cage for you here in Florida.
I mean, a lot of these committees are actually headquartered out of Wyoming. That protects even the name of the chairperson on the committee. You can only see the name of the committee. You can't see anything.
Is that undisclosed location Cheney was hiding in, Wyoming?
I have no idea.
No. I was just joking around with you. Wyoming. No, I've looked into corporation formation, and there's some states you get to hide everything in. I think Wyoming might be one. I think Nevada and Delaware are also. And as a libertarian, I don't want the government in my business, your business, or their business.
Throws more more shadiness on trying to figure out where the money's coming from and who's managing it, who's donating to it, and where it's
so
going.
if it looks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, it must be a duck, huh?
I think that's a fair assumption. I mean, I'm not stretching the lines here to connect a few dots that really do connect Lawrence with this money and these mailers that he has repeatedly denied. He absolutely has in public denied any sort of knowledge of it, but it's seeming less and less likely that that's actually the case.
All right, so it's up to the voters, of course. You know, I applaud you for stepping up to run, sir. It's a lot of work, as you know. Yes. Special elections require all this to be compressed into, I think, like a 90-day effort. And certainly looks like Mr. McClure had a good heads up that this was coming. And so when's the next chance you're going to have to directly engage with Lawrence? Is there any candidates forum where you get
there is a candidate
ask some questions?
I don't know if he'll be there. My understanding is that he will, though, on November 27th with FM 88.5
WMMF or something?
WMMF, yes. That's a mouthful. On 85 FM at noon, 12 p.m. on November 27th, there'll be a candidates forum broadcast over the radio.
Beautiful.
So, and my understanding is that all 4 candidates will be there, so Lawrence will be at that one as well. And then there's another in-person candidates forum hosted by the League of Women Voters on December 4th. That'll be at 6 p.m., and that'll be at the Islamic Society of Tampa Bay. I don't know if he'll be there for that. I haven't had any sort of discussions with the individuals that are setting that up, so I really don't know.
Awesome. So it sounds like you're getting out there and doing your job to interface with the voters. So good job, sir. How can people get in touch with you if they want to get involved?
I've got a website. You can either go to bryanzemina.com, or to make it easier, because that's not the simplest word to it's not the simplest name to spell, I've got it back here, bz4liberty.com. So that's Bryan Zemina for liberty.com. And I have all my stances on all the platform issues that are going on out there. I've got a volunteer page. I've got a spot where you can actually reach out and send me any sort of question that's on your mind. It'll land right in my inbox, and I will get back to you that day.
Beautiful. And just for the record, we provided the phone number for Mr. McClure to call into this exact recording we're doing right now. And I did email him the URL to join in at a video connection, so he could be, side by side talking. But we'll have to follow up with him, and be happy to make time to hear it from Mr. McClure himself. All right, excellent. So Bryan Zemina, appreciate you stepping up to run for office, and keep doing what you're doing, because I think you're getting the word out. And as a libertarian, we like open markets. We don't like being screwed with by the government, and we want competition. So you look like you're ready to compete, and it sounds like you have that.
Let's do it.
Excellent. Let's go Florida. All right, Mr. Zemina, thanks for your time.
Thanks a lot, Kevin.
You're very welcome. Be well.